I saw your son going like this. I saw him like not being able to sleep. He tells me that he had like these cravings that were here. He says, Matt, I thought I was just gonna take a little bit, go to sleep, wake up the next day, and I would be fine. He says, but instead, he says, I never woke up. I know that this is really hard to connect with your son like this. And right away, he says to me, there's so many questions that you have over his passing and over what had happened. But he is here because he keeps telling me I wasn't supposed to die like this, and he needs you to know when I'm connecting, okay, that this was an accident when I'm speaking to him. This is really important that you know this, because I'm gonna go and I'm gonna tell you everything. I know that here in this world, you saw your son go through many battles. And there were many battles with addictions here in this world, he shows me. Because he shows me that he would have these problems, he would get better. He'd have these problems, he would get better. He says, and Matt, my mother was tough as nails. He said, but she stuck by me through this whole journey. He says, and I promised her that I wouldn't keep secrets from her. That if he ever had a problem or there was ever an issue, that he would come back or talk to you or say it. Because he also tells me, he goes, Matt, you don't understand. He goes, my mother was my angel. He goes, she was helping me through these addiction issues. And he also tells me that he got into some issues with the law that you were also helping him out with. He says, but Matt, you need to tell my mom that here in this world, she was my Band-Aid in life. Every time that I fell down, he says, she picks me back up. She was right there. She got me back on my feet. He says, and I owe my mom everything for the woman that she was to me. He says, but the one thing that he's also telling me, he says, is Matt, I lied to her. I told her that I was okay. I told her I was gonna stop. I told her that she didn't have to worry. He says, but secretly, I was doing all of these things. He just talks about a necklace.
His ashes.
Oh, shut the hell up, they're in here?
Yeah.
So know that that's his way of acknowledging that when you wear him every single day, his soul is right there and with you. And who's this as well? I'm sorry.
This is my daughter.
Okay. So this was your brother that passed. So first of all, he wants to thank you for the way that you've stuck by your mom and has helped her through this. And I also know that you were like a second mom to your brother, that you were always on him and on him and on him and on him 24/7. He says, and Matt, he says, you gotta understand. He says that what was so tough with my passing was the fact that I hurt the two people that loved me the most here in this world. Your son said to me, Matt, he goes, I'm gonna be honest, I did not mean to end my life here in this world. When I'm connecting with him, he says to me that he had been clean and sober for quite some time.
Off and on.
Well, listen, you gotta understand, that shows me one thing. When I see that and your son shows me that, it's his way of showing me that he was trying, right?
Yeah.
It's not that even though he may have been on and off for a week, he stopped for a week, went on for a week, stopped for 2 weeks, went on for a week, he was trying to break this pattern. He was trying to break this addiction. That's what I'm seeing. He wasn't lying in that way. Because he tells me that the night that he died, right, I see that he took what he thought or what he considered to be a normal amount of something, but it caused his passing because he hadn't taken it in quite some time. So he said to me that this was not intentional. I saw your son going like this. I saw him like not being able to sleep. He tells me that he had like these cravings that were here. He says, Matt, I thought I was just gonna take a little bit, go to sleep, wake up the next day, and I would be fine. He says, but instead, he says, I never woke up. So know that he's coming through for one reason. He needs the two of you to know that he's here.
It's okay.
He says, and Matt, I wish I would have called them. That's what he tells me.
I haven't talked to my son in a year because of the drug addiction, so I just want to make sure he was okay.
He's here.
Okay.
But you gotta know one thing, okay? And this is why he's here. This is why he made me come over here. Because your son knows that this pulled the two of you apart. Okay. And he also knew something else that you don't think he knew. Your son tells me that you played rough and tough with him, but your son tells me that you're a cream puff inside. Yeah. And your son tells me that if he needed you, right, he could call you anytime and that door would always be open.
Yes.
So your son says to me that you did everything on him. You never gave up on him. You gave him every tool, every resource, everything that you possibly could to change his life and to get back to his true self. And when he didn't do that, he said, that's no one to blame but myself. So I want to tell my mom that I'm sorry. He says, I do want to let her know that I was trying to work through it. He says, and I want to let her know that I'm okay. Now there's something else that's here, oh boy. No, not your dad. This is something else. He's telling me when I'm connecting. Did he also have a child here in this world? And was there issues with you not seeing this child or you not getting to see this child?
We adopted his daughter, and there was another daughter too, but we didn't adopt her.
That's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
He's telling me there's a child that's missing or a child that you're trying to either find more about or get back in touch with. And he said to me this. He says, Matt, please let my mom know that I owe her everything. He says, because the one thing that he needs to tell you is this. He says, because of the role that you have in his daughter's life here in this world, meaning both his daughter's life, he tells me that his daughters will know him as their dad.
Yeah.
Because of you. And because of you, but mainly because of your mom. And he tells me this. I know it was not easy in the beginning because I heard that there was issues. He tells me this. Because your loved ones will bring up what happened right after their passing, meaning that I feel like right after he had died, you either tried to get custody or tried to reach out. Something happened that was there, and it was very, very bad because he's telling me this.
Yeah.
He says, and I want to thank my mom for not giving up because he tells me that anybody else would.
Yeah, we fought for her.
That's what I want to talk about. So no, he saw that from heaven. He says, because of you, my daughter, it's like she gets to have, he says, my mom, the same way that I had her here in this world. So he wants to thank you for taking that role of mom again, for giving her all of your love, and also for keeping her connected with her dad.